You're welcome to have a seat here if you
Oh, thank you.
They have to be called on the carpet for letting this Mayoff scandal go on for 30 years. Now they just came out. Geithner said they did not have the tools necessary to find this Ponzi scheme that goes on for 30 years. The cat gets out of the bag. They say, now we need new tools. They had people who were working for the SEC, the investigators, who did not know what to do on their job. Right? They were not qualified to weed out the major fraud of probably the 21st century.
It's worse than that, right? They had people working there who had spent careers or were anticipating careers with the entities that they were regulating.
Correct. Okay, so they weren't, they didn't look under the carpet, if you want to say that.
Regulatory capture.
Right. Okay. So basically, they were at fault. This is due to a bureaucracy that's out of control. The next point is that the government...
So are you saying we should have less regulators?
Absolutely. If you
less?
Right.
So you look at what happened in the last 2 years and you're saying we should have less regulation on the financial services?
SEC had 1,000 guys who had nothing to do except pat each other on the back. They were all lawyers. They had no idea on how to ferret out fraud. Okay? And it's a proof. 1,000 guys could not ferret out a fraud. The gentleman who was on TV 60 Minutes 3, 4, 5 times told the SEC this is impossible. The SEC still did not investigate.
I saw him in the hearing. You're talking about the gentleman who was aware of the Madoff scandal and we couldn't get any attention from the SEC. So let me get a specific idea from you, because I'm right in the middle of this right now, thinking through what the next steps are for regulating the financial institutions. You're saying make them smaller?
Absolutely, because you have a bureaucracy, okay, that does not work. If you had 20 or 30 people there that would be responsible for a certain thing.
But you don't worry that if you have no regulatory authority, you get lots of Madoffs?
No, you would
So
not.
how do you avoid that?
How do you avoid? I'll give you first of all, I'll give you another example. The Stanford Ponzi scheme. Okay. The government did not investigate this guy when he's offering 10% interest on CDs when everybody else is.
Right.
2%. Okay. Why didn't they do this? You can go one step further. You can go to the lead in toys. After the toys have been sold for 100, 200, 300, let's say 3, 4, 5 years, okay, then the Consumer Protection Agency says, oh, these toys are no good. Where were they when this started? It's because you have a bureaucracy out of control. And if you didn't have this, you would have people who would be responsible for it rather than layers and layers and layers of it. The next thing we have to talk about is spending money. I don't know if you saw this, but the state of Connecticut, I thought it was only $60 billion, owed $75 billion pension for the cumulative pension to our state workers, $75 billion, equal to $55,000 per household. Okay, who is going to pay for that? The state is broke. The total pension deficit cost this country is $2 trillion. Are you telling me these young kids who are graduating from college now are going to pay for this? They can't even find a job. This is the road to bankruptcy. All right, they have to cut government spending by 20 or 30% just in order to fund this. I heard the other day if they eliminated all government employees, and there's 2 million, not counting the military, we would still have a budget deficit due to the entitlements and the mandates that are required by the government.
Medicare and Social Security.
Everything. Right. Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, which is a state program.
So you would support very substantial cuts in Medicare?
I would say in Medicare, the average Medicare recipient, the cost for average Medicare recipient is $10,100. Okay. If Medicare went on a different program, which Safeway did, Safeway company, and required people to meet 4 criteria, the cost of medical care for the age would go down by 30 to 40%.
What were those criteria?
First one, everybody on our plan has to stop smoking. Everybody has to reduce their cholesterol to a acceptable level. Everybody who has diabetes, we're going to monitor that, and we're going to have to go on a special diet. And 4, if you have cardiovascular problems, you're going to have to take some type of action to reduce the cardiovascular problems that you have. They reduced the number of people on this, in other words, the number of people on this program, they were able to reduce their health insurance by 40%.
We got a company right here in this county, Pitney Bowes, led by Mike Critelli. Under Mike's leadership, they put in place programs like that that really substantially increase the health of their employees and cut the costs.
Right. One other thing I didn't mention, one of the criteria is overweight. People who are overweight. Most people who are overweight have diabetes to get
type 2 diabetes.
Type 2 diabetes from being overweight. The government does not do that. There's people who walk in to any of these medical clinics that were 200, 300, 400 pounds overweight. Overweight. It's unacceptable that the government forcing people who are working to pay for these people who do not take responsibility for their lives.
We got to figure out a way. And
that's the only way to do it.
We have a huge health problem in this country. People are living very unhealthy lifestyles, and we got to figure out.
These are the way to do it. You tell them we're giving you a year to come into compliance. Within that year, if you do not, you are not on Medicare anymore. And the people will hop on board. The next thing is we have a terrible, you alluded to this before, we have a terrible education system. You have to have vouchers, you have to have choice, you have to let parents make their own decisions on where their kids go to school. They want to send them to charter schools, fine. They want to send them to public schools, fine. There are good public schools. People fight over each other to get into Beverly Hills High. They fight, I'm sure, to get into Greenwich High. But the inner cities, it's a deplorable situation. You have students, 30, 40, 50%, 60% do not graduate. It costs, on average, $18,000 to $20,000 a year to educate these kids. And you spend, just for 10 years, and they don't graduate, you blew $200,000. You have to give their parents the choice to send them to parochial schools. And there's no parochial, private schools, charter schools. There is no other way to solve the problem.
Well, I'll tell you what, I completely agree with you that we got a very severe problem, and it is a huge problem for our economy and for the country. The fact is there aren't enough parochial schools right now that if you wanted to take all the kids out of the public school system and put them in, it wouldn't work. So I don't disagree with you.
They will sprout up.
The question is how do you fix this?
They will sprout up.
Not quickly with the quality that we need.
You will get the quality because you will get the teachers who are in private industry will be glad to teach kids in parochial schools. You are being, right now, if you want to call it this, you are being ganged up on by the teachers union who will not give kids choice. You have a failed system, and in order to get rid of that failed system, you have to get rid of the program that has not worked in the past and develop one that will work in the future. It's the only way to do it. The other,
hey, we got to, I'm already 10 minutes over. I know I got a few more people I got to see. So, look, I'm going to be doing more of these, and you're more than welcome to come to each and every one of them. But I appreciate your thoughts. Yeah, thank you.